Welcome to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. Now here's your host, Tim McMahon.
Hey, it's Tim. Over the last few months here on Less Than 12 Parsecs, something I like to do once a month is share with you my top 5 favorite lines of dialogue from the Star Wars films. I've been doing the films in chronological order, and this month I'm up to Attack of the Clones. Tonight I'm not going to share with you my top 5 favorite lines of dialogue from the Attack of the Clones. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But first, I do want to talk about Attack of the Clones. Something I say a lot, and people are always kind of taken aback by it, is I like to say that Attack of the Clones is my favorite of the Star Wars prequels. This kind of shocks people because I think universally Attack of the Clones is considered probably the worst Star Wars film. I'm not saying it's not the worst Star Wars film, I'm just saying it's my favorite of the prequels. I don't think I've ever taken the time to explain why I feel this way, so that's what I'm going to do here tonight. This is unscripted, this is just off the top of my head, so please forgive me if my thoughts are a little unpolished and random. My first reason is how it compares to the other 2 films in the prequel trilogy. And as a side note, I think it's a misnomer to call the prequels a trilogy, because really it's 1 film and then it's 2 films. It's not really one arcing story, in my opinion. What I mean by how it compares to the other films in the trilogy is that going into the film, there were a lot less expectations for this movie than there were for The Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith. You've heard me say it before, but the build-up to Phantom Menace was the greatest time in Star Wars fandom. The anticipation, the expectation, the hope, the hype. It was all so great. It was a feast for the fans. We all saw it, and we all walked away going, okay, that wasn't quite what I expected. And then, to jump ahead to episode 3, going into Revenge of the Sith, again, we had all these expectations, like, all right, we're finally going to get what we've been waiting for the last 2 films. And to me, this is just personal opinion, I know a lot of people disagree with me, I did not get from Revenge of the Sith what I wanted. And that's because so much of Revenge of the Sith is built upon what came in episodes 1 and 2. And because episodes 1 and 2 were such a letdown, to me, this is all opinion, you're welcome to disagree, but because episodes 1 and 2 were such a letdown, Revenge of the Sith did not have the foundation it needed to be an awesome film. So keep in mind the disappointments I had with episode 1 and episode 3, but with episode 2, I really didn't have any expectations. After episode 1, it was sort of like a clean slate because of the time jump 10 years forward. The other main reason I rank Attack of the Clones so high is because of a movie review I read when the film came out. Now, I personally don't read a lot of movie reviews because I do find that I can be swayed in my opinion, and that's probably what happened here. But one reviewer compared Obi-Wan Kenobi's storyline in Attack of the Clones to James Bond. In a lot of James Bond movies, there's a villain, MI5 knows about him, but they don't know a lot, so they send out James Bond to go track the guy down, figure out what he's doing. And that's sort of the storyline here. The Jedi Council knows that Count Dooku is up to something, but not quite sure what, so they send Obi-Wan Kenobi out to track him down. James Bond always gets captured, Obi-Wan Kenobi gets captured, there's a big fight at the end, things get blown up, end of story. I'm a big James Bond fan, so when I read that I was like, oh yeah, I get it now. And that has stuck in my head ever since. And then I think the third reason I enjoy Attack of the Clones so much is because I enjoy to hate watch it. Hate watching is when you watch something that you dislike just so you can grumble about it. And the Anakin and Padme storyline is so horrible and so poorly executed that I love to hate it. So there you go. To sum up, those are the 3 reasons why I put Attack of the Clones as my personal favorite. 1, it wasn't a disappointment because I really didn't have any expectations going in. 2, Obi-Wan Kenobi is James Bond. And 3, the Anakin and Padme storyline is so bad that I love to hate it. Or do I hate to love it? I don't know. I love to hate it. I know, there's a whole generation of people out there for whom the prequels are their Star Wars, and I totally get that. And really, everything I've said here tonight is just my opinion. You're welcome to disagree. That's what makes Star Wars so awesome, is that we can have disagreements, and yet at the core of things, we all still love it. So, what's your opinion of Attack of the Clones? I want to know. Email me at TwelveParsecsPodcast@gmail.com or connect with me on any of my social media accounts. All the links can be found on my website, TwelveParsecsPodcast.com. And check back tomorrow, maybe I will give you my 5 favorite lines of dialogue from Attack of the Clones. Thanks for listening. Utini!
You've been listening to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy, part of the expanded Fandomverse network of shows. For links and show notes, visit our website, 12parsekpodcast.com. Follow Less Than 12 Parsecs on Twitter at 12parpod, on Instagram at 12parsekspodcast, on Tumblr at 12parsekspodcast, and find us on Facebook as well. And please let us know what you think. Email us at 12parsekspodcast@gmail.com.